What's stopping you from being a barber? Is it because you see all these barbers that have all these fancy things and all these tools and products and gadgets and super fancy stuff that, catches your eye and you're like, I don't have any of that stuff. How am I ever supposed to do this? Well, you don't need that stuff. You only need 3 things to start barbering. First thing you're gonna need is a good clipper. Second thing is a good trimmer. And the last thing you need is a good pair of shears. And of course, you're gonna need to know how to cut hair. You're gonna need some knowledge of cutting hair. So if you ever wanna learn how to cut hair, go check out my barber tutorials playlist on my channel. I have a bunch of tutorials up on different types of hairstyles, different techniques, how to use certain products, how to use certain tools, adding texture to the hair, doing burst fades, tapers, the difference between different types of haircuts and hairstyles, all that. So go ahead and check out those tutorials if you want to learn how to cut hair so you can start cutting hair today. But you only need 3 tools to be able to start cutting hair, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. And before I get into how to use the different tools that I just showed you and what the tools are used for, I just want to say that you don't have to get something super expensive. I actually got these 2. So I got this from TJ Maxx. I found them there. I got it for $25. This one I found at Ross. I got for $40. These shears I got for about $70. And then this trimmer, I traded an old clipper to get this trimmer. So you don't have to spend all kinds of money. Usually you can find a deal somewhere. If you're lucky enough, you can find them at TJ Maxx or Ross. That's not always the case, but TJ Maxx and Ross do have a couple wireless clippers right now, and they're kind of like this Babyliss Lithium FX. They're the Conair Lithium FX, which is the same company. So it's gonna run you about $30 and you'll get the same amount of quality. You don't need to be spending, $300, $250 for whatever these actually cost. So if you can find a deal somewhere, get you some cheap pairs of clippers and tools, and then you'll be able to just start cutting hair. Don't worry about getting the most expensive stuff right now. But let's get into how to use these different tools and how you can knock out a whole haircut with just these 3 things. So your clippers are probably one of the most important tools as far as hair cutting, because depending on the hairstyle, you might use all clipper work, especially if they don't get the top trimmed with shears. If they just go like with a number 4 all the way around, you're just going to be using your clippers the whole time. So the clippers are the most important tool to have as far as hair cutting. And so on this haircut especially, so I'm using the clipper for the majority of the side and the back of his head. So when I'm doing my process for cutting his hair, I'm using all clipper. And when you buy a set of clippers, they usually come with your clipper guards. You don't have to go purchase those anywhere. They usually come with it. So you can do the whole fade and the whole haircut on the sides and the back just using your clipper and these clipper guards. Basically, you're gonna go from a number 4 up to the top towards where the top of his head is, and then all the way down to the clipper closed. Now, I start my process off by clearing out the bulk at the bottom using my clipper closed, and then I use guidelines as I cut the hair. Again, if you want to see what my haircut process is, go check out my hair tutorials. I'm not gonna really go into that as far as this, but so when you're doing this haircut, the bulk of the haircut is actually just using your clippers and using guards, using your clipper with no guard, then your half guard, then your 1.5 guard, your 2, and your number 4. So you don't have to use anything else. As long as you have those, you can get this haircut done on the sides and the back. And then let me go ahead and just skip through this haircut until we get to the trimmers. And now let's get into the second tool that I mentioned, which is your trimmers. Now, you can do an edge up without trimmers. You don't necessarily need trimmers. The reason I added it to this list is because you can't get a sharp edge up without having a good set of trimmers. Using your clippers or using shears isn't going to get you the sharpest line. That's why I say you need to have a good set of trimmers so you can really get that line sharp, have it pop and outline your haircut. It's going to make the haircut pop even more and just look even better. Like, I don't know about you, but having a haircut with a super sharp and neat line just makes the haircut so much better in my opinion. And having a good sharp set of trimmers is going to allow that for you, and also using the trimmers on the back of the neck to make sure that the hair is all gone and it's razor bald at the bottom. So just having that good set of trimmers is going to make this way easier, and it's really going to add to your haircut. And now let's get into our final tool, which is our shears. And you definitely need these if you're not getting any sort of buzz cut. If you want length on the top, any sort of flow, any texture type of look, any longer hairstyle on the top, you need to have shears, because that's the only way you're going to be able to cut the hair and cut it even. You can't use clipper guards on the top. If you want to, hair length longer than an inch, you're not going to be able to do that with clippers. You need to have a good set of shears so you can be accurate and precise and really get this hairstyle working for you. So your shears are what's going to tie the top into the side of the fade and make sure that all the hair on top is even. So get you a good pair of hair cutting shears. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just make sure they're sharp enough to be able to cut the hair. The shears that come with the cheap clippers, they're not good enough. They don't cut the hair and they just push the hair out of the way. So get you a nice pair of shears, around $80 to $100. It should be sharp enough, and then you'll be able to cut the hair on top even, accurately, precisely, and really get the hairstyles that you want to cut. And that's basically what they're used for, is to make sure all the hair on top is even and to add texture. You can add texture using shears and get the hairstyle looking the way that you want with those shears. The clippers are not going to do the job. You need to have a good set of shears so you can really shape the haircut on the top while keeping the length if your client wants to have length up top. So shears are definitely a must-have. But this is how the haircut turned out, just using those three things. You don't have to make it hard. You don't need all these fancy tools and other stuff to be able to get this haircut done. Just having a clipper, a trimmer, and shears is going to do the job. So if you guys were scared about starting and just nervous about trying to cut hair because you didn't think you had everything that you needed to, hopefully this video helps to show you that you only need these three things and you can start cutting hair immediately. You're gonna love the industry, especially if you have a passion for cutting hair. It's gonna take you super far in this industry, and it is an amazing industry to get into. Barbering is amazing. You're gonna love it. If you guys wanna check out more of my videos and more of my content, I have a bunch of playlists up, from how to start content creation to barber tools and accessories and reviews on those, and different tutorials on cutting hair, different techniques, all of that good stuff. But it's your boy Pico.Blurred, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh my god, is that Pico.Blurred?